My name's Greg Souza.
My name is Safathia Romeo Taken.
I'm a bartender and run a bar called the Crow's Nest in Gloucester and have been for over 30 years.
I'm the mayor of the city of Gloucester. I've been mayor for 3 years, but in a city councilor for 13 prior.
Bars like this bar, which I refer to as a neighborhood, waterfront, working man, blue-collar dive bar.
So, I mean, every day is a new day. Every day we're working together. Every day this office is going crazy.
There were probably 20 or more of these in the late 60s through the 70s. Very different than now. Or dinosaurs, that's for sure. I'm not sure if it's good to be the last dinosaur or not. There's only a couple of bars like this left in town where the real regulars, the last of us, still come and go. Other places, I'm sure, are completely, they might as well not even be open. And they are. A lot of places aren't open in the winter because what's the point? There's nobody there.
Oh, I love it when you leave me. I love you more the days you don't. In the morning, will you forget me?
Almost coincidentally, that time, the movie The Perfect Storm came out in 2000, and that was around the time that things really seemed to be shifting. For me, for instance, my year-round business was very similar. Same guys, super regulars all the time, guys that worked all around the waterfront, whether they're fishermen, truckers, guys that just work on the wharf, the machine shops, to more and more summer-based tourist people.
Love you more the days you don't. But in the morning, will you come with me? I hoped you would, but I bet you won't.
For instance, in 1988 or 1990, my business wasn't a lot different in January than it was in August. That's not the case now at all. It's way different now. Roughly 2000 to now, which is 17 years, it's really started to tilt to a tourist type town.
Till my blues just wash away. But by that time, oh, I'll be old and gray.
My administration, for the first time ever, we put a line item in the budget. So at least $130,000 is going right towards tourism and going to that. We gave a line item, I believe it's like 30% goes directly back to the tourism. The hotel did increase. It did bring more people in. But I think that the awareness of Gloucester, the outreach we've been doing, Discover Gloucester, our tourism people that really, we had no commission that was active, but they were really active. It's some of the people. We have a great community. We have a balance of diversity in Gloucester that's amazing. Growing up, I was spoiled, I guess, because I think me and my friends just had a better life than some of the kids now. I know it's great to have technology and social media and everything else, but I was out there. We were outside with the neighborhood.
There was always a lot of thieving when I was a kid. The neighborhood I grew up in, I was fascinated. My mother's house was never robbed, but every other house in the neighborhood was, just coincidentally, luckily.
We knew who lived in our neighborhoods. I miss that for my grandkids, We knew, unless you live in a cul-de-sac, then you don't have a neighborhood, and that's not fair. We lived in the inner city. None of us had cul-de-sacs. We grew up running in and out of the churchyard, we called it.
But I don't think crime like that's on the rise any more than it ever was. The stuff I knew about, especially as a kid, was all drug-based. The guys were stealing money to get drugs. That's what they were doing. I'm sure that's the way it is all across the country. The same, we're not any different that way.
Everyone knew each other, and everyone, you knew that if something happened, you can run into someone else's parents' house, or if you had to even go to the restroom, or whatever you had to do. And everyone seemed like we all ate at the same time. It was so cool. It's like, okay, we're all going to eat. I'll see you in about an hour. And we all come back out for the night. It was just amazing, the things we do.
I like it. I like that it felt more real to me always than some picture postcard town. This is, there's good. There's a lot of great and beauty here, but there's a hard underbelly. There just is. Homeless situation is certainly way more prevalent than it was ever that I've seen. But way more, just the last few years particularly. Again, I'm somewhat biased because the homeless shelter in Gloucester is right down the street from here. So I see everybody streaming by in the morning. Some of the people I actually know that are Gloucester people I grew up with even.
I've talked to homeless people, and I let them live in my woods, believe it or not, in back of my house, so they wouldn't be bothered. During the summer, I have some of the transits that come.
It's the same as every place else in the country, expensive housing. People not able to find jobs where they can't even come close to making the money to house themselves. So you got a huge problem that way. As a kid, I don't remember any homeless people. There were a few what people referred to as bums around town, but it was not similar to this,
I call them my friends, not homeless, but my friends who are here all the time at the Grace Center, and some of them are dropping their needles, and you're gonna get blamed for it. Can we educate them on what to do? Because that's my biggest problem. It's not that all homeless people are drug addicts. No, it's not that. But we have more needles in the summer than we ever do. I was kind of surprised when I first came into internship, really what it details everything. It sounds so easy, but believe me, unless you have the right team, it's very complex.
I'm Chris Carranza. I'm Director of Communications and Constituent Services, Executive Staff here for the Office of the Mayor, for Mayor Safatia Romeo Taken. I think Gloucester is very much a place where you think of the storied heritage, you think of the storied history, especially as it relates to the maritime economy, and that's certainly true today, but I also think that you see a certain change with the younger generation that recognizes that they don't want to necessarily end up where maybe their parents or grandparents ended up within the fishing industry, and that they weren't prepared for the regulations and the changes. A lot of communities are facing the same problem today, not just here in Massachusetts, but across the country, in that we have a changing outlook around housing, around what our future economy is, and we're trying to navigate our past with our future. And a lot of people, when they talk about gentrification, they kind of see it as either very positive or very negative. And in the case of Gloucester, for example, we're going through a process right now through our community development team, where we're trying to introduce a housing production plan so that we can accommodate the best housing strategies going forward here. There's a lot of good potential here, and a lot of people have to get involved to have their voices heard, and they're doing that. So I feel confident that we're going to have a very nice game plan going forward here that's going to return as much as it can for everyone, so that it won't be overly developed and it won't be a relic of the past either. I think we're going to find that right sweet spot by all working together. Everything that we're doing here is that the next generation is well equipped to come in when she passes that baton over, or that generation passes that baton over.
The mayor? She's my age. We went to school together. I first met her in 7th grade. As local comes. She's as Gloucester could possibly be. Very forward, always a very talkative, forward type. As I look back, I guess it makes sense that She has no problem getting up in front of people and talking, and she'd talk to anybody at any moment. I wouldn't think she would care much whether you shoveled crap for a living or a multi-zillionaire as far as how she treated you. I think she tries to treat everybody decently. Tough time to be a mayor, I guess, especially her case where she grew up, you know, Italian as Italian can be, around the fish, all based around the fishing community. You know, so that to her, that's the way of life for Gloucester, and it was all of it. You know, all of us. I wasn't in a fishing family, but my father was a longshoreman, so yeah, everything was still based around that. So for her to see it change, it's got to be like, okay, I get it. It has to change. You know, but it can't be easy for her. She must pine for the old days in some ways. You know, she has to.
Do you?
Oh, I love it when you leave me. I love you more the days you don't. In the morning, will you forget me? For all the times I never spoke. I met this girl in the country. Her hair was black like summer feet. But now she's standing at that station. Outbound ticket, track 3. She says, oh, I love it when you leave me. I love you more the days you don't. But in the morning, will you come with me? I hoped you would, but I bet you won't. So just don't take those eyes off me, baby. I don't feel like myself today. Play the blues in every station till my blues just wash away. But by that time, oh, I'll be old and gray.